The much-anticipated World Relay is about to begin at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. It's live right here on this station. And a woman found dead on Skyline Drive early this morning, so don't you move. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the Bahamas on the world stage as top track and field athletes, coaches, and trainers have assembled at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium for the start of the IAAF World Relays. Officials are very pleased with the general response to the games and are pushing to make the Bahamas the #1 sporting destination. But the atmosphere was quite busy at the stadium today as the curtain opened on the World Relays.
We're still, putting the finishing touches on all systems, but we'll be ready to go tonight.
Ready, set, and it's an all systems go as the Bahamas takes on 800 of the world's top track and field athletes, 200 coaches and trainers from some 44 countries for the second IAAF World Relays. Managing Director of the local organization committee, Lionel Haven, says they are now tying up some loose ends before showtime.
We've got service providers that are coming in and they have to be set up, and we need to ensure that they're complying with our rules and regulations.
And as for tickets, more than 2,000 additional seats were granted, and the local organizing commission expects a crowd of 30,000 to crowd the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium over the next 2 days. But for all of you still looking for tickets for the big meet, Haven says you may be out of luck.
Have had a bit of the bleacher seats. What we did about a week and a half ago, we put in bleachers at the 200-meter bend, just as we did at the World Relays last year, and that made available about 1,800 seats. So those tickets were on sale. There's been a smattering of those that's been left around, but that's pretty much all there is. And I know in particular for Sunday, I think most of the tickets have been, if not all of those tickets have already been sold everywhere.
With the success of the inaugural World Relays last year and the anticipated success of the relays this year, the Bahamas will host the games yet again in 2017. Haven says this will not only serve as an economic boost, but will give the Bahamas international exposure. He told us how the Bahamas was able to secure the IAAF World Relays for a third time.
The executive team went to Monaco to do a report on the 2014 event last November. And during the course of that discussion, the president of the IAAF, Lamaine Diak, made the pronouncement to our committee that the Bahamas would also be offered the rights to host the 2017 edition of the event. At that time, of course, it'll become a part of the World Athletics Series, which changes the parameters somewhat in terms of the magnitude of the event, because it'll then become a sort of regular event on their schedule.
In other news, the Bahamas stands to gain economically from oil exploration if a key piece of legislation is approved. The compendium of bills has already reached Parliament and was read for the first time. Minister of the Environment and Housing, the Honorable Kenrick Dorset, confirmed to our news team they're now awaiting a date for the second reading. He outlines some of the benefits.
One where the Bahamas, I think, will certainly get more revenue associated with the activity. But more importantly, as the Minister of Environment, we're now going to be advancing a world-class environmental regime, which will ensure that the standards that we need are also employed in that sort of activity, should we decide to move ahead with it. So once again, I think we've done what we've committed ourselves to do by way of ensuring that there is proper legislation in place before any drilling occurs, and hopefully that will be debated soon and passed in the House.
Police are tonight investigating the circumstances surrounding the deaths of a man and a woman in western New Providence in 2 separate incidents. Early this morning, a suspicious death was reported on Skyline Drive, and late last night, an armed robbery turns fatal. With one incident still unclassified, the murder count is now at 48 for the year. Sieska Adderley reports.
The woman's body was found hanging from a tree in Skyline Drive earlier this morning around 6:30 by a group of walkathon participants traveling in the area. Head of the Central Detective Unit Chief Superintendent Paul Roll confirmed to our news team at the scene that shortly after the discovery was made, a man reported a female companion missing to the police. Roll explains the connection.
The description which he gave fits this individual, and the male had gone into the station with a young child along with him. And so we are going to be looking at that to try and bring some resolve.
And just hours before that, police were called to Stewart's Cove to investigate the circumstances surrounding a man's death. The victim, a British national, was accosted by armed men while at home on his boat, which was docked at the marina. The incident reportedly took place shortly after 10 last night when two men reportedly duct-taped the security officer on duty demanding cash.
In the process, the security officer was able to get away from the men and ran towards the rear of the building where the marina is located, where he observed two additional men armed with handguns and all wearing black tar masks had one of the residents from a yacht that is in the marina.
The CDO chief also confirmed that they're looking for 4 suspects in connection with the man's death. And while officers are still very early into their investigations, they're asking anyone with information that could solve these latest incidents to contact them at 911, 919, Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, or your nearest police station. Sia Scatterly, ZNS Network News.
4 murder suspects were also arrested during a police operation throughout New Providence last night. They are being questioned in connection with a murder at St. Margaret's Road on Thursday night. Also during that operation, 25 persons were taken into custody for possession of dangerous drugs. Officers in Grand Bahama also made a major drug seizure this morning. The joint operation was conducted by the Royal Bahamas Police Force and its international partners. The team discovered a vessel on the shoreline at the southern end of Grand Bahama with a significant amount of marijuana. The investigations continue and police will provide further details on that drug discovery. And still to come, healthcare professionals in Grand Bahama heard from the Constitutional Commission on Gender Equality. That story and more straight ahead.